And we're live. Welcome back to another episode of the TBloom Talk Show. I'm your host, TBloom. We're here live at the TBloom headquarters, and we're here to give some Week 4 predictions. Unfortunately, last week, I was not able to give you my Week 3 predictions, only the Week 2 recap. However, I am back and better than ever, ready to give you all the latest news, predictions, and what's ahead of us this upcoming Sunday for the NFL weekend. Now, last night's game, Bengals versus Dolphins. Unfortunately, I was not able to watch any of it. But trust me, even though the Bengals won, that wasn't the story of the game. Tua Tagovailoa seized up on the field last night due to a normal, I wouldn't say it was an atrocious football hit. I mean, these things happen all the time for quarterbacks when they hold onto the ball too long, and he got swung around and hit in the head. Nonetheless, if you've watched Tua Tagovailoa's performance the prior weekend when they were going against the who were they going against? The Bills, when they played the Bills. When Tua Tagovailoa played the Bills and he got up after slamming his head back onto the turf, he gets up, falls over multiple times, needs teammates to carry him out onto the sideline, and somehow miraculously, not even sure if I'm saying that right, he gets thrown back into the game. They end up winning, and he didn't get any injuries after that in that game. However, in this game, he gets thrown down. He's obviously having some sort of seizure. I'm no medical physician, doctor, whatever you want to call it, but he's looking at his hands like he's throwing up gang signs. That's not good. Anytime your quarterback's looking up at the ceiling, looking at his hands like that, that's not good. There's obvious brain trauma or injuries that he needs to deal with, and that no coach should have even let him play out on that field. I don't give a shit if your doctor said, hey, yeah, he's good to go. No, I just seen my quarterback get up, fall over again after getting hit in the head. There's obviously some sort of head trauma there. I didn't think he should have came back in that Bills game, let alone play the next week on a short week on Thursday against the Bengals. Absolute shit show going on over there in Miami. They need to figure it out. Stephen A. Smith came on this morning and said someone needs to be fired. I agree, because you can't do that to a quarterback. And if the NFL's really wanting to take a stance to, make sure these players are protected and, they're not injured and there's no CTE coming up later on in their lives, then they need to really stand for it, because I guarantee you if that was some sort of, John Smith linebacker, if he gets up and starts falling down over his feet after he hits his head, he's not going to be playing for the rest of the game. But since it's Tua Tagovailoa and he's selling tickets and he's coming out, balling out, putting the NFL on the map, making a statement for all the NFL franchises and teams to see, oh no, just sweep that under the rug. He's fine. He's okay. Let him play. He passed all the tests. He's fine. No, this is just another example of the hypocrisy that the NFL displays every single year and the bias that they have for NFL quarterbacks. I mean, I don't even want to get into all that, but the NFL does so many things that are just so fake and so phony that it's so easy to see, and here's another one. But I don't want to spend too much time on the negative energy. We wish Tua Tagovailoa a healthy recovery. Hopefully he gets everything settled and there's no serious trauma other than what was displayed on that field. Tua Tagovailoa from TBloom and TBloom Nation, we wish you very well. Now, nonetheless, the Bengals got the dub last night. That moves them to 2-2, and the Miami Dolphins suffer their first loss. I'm not surprised here. I know I didn't tweet it. There's no what would you say, evidence of me predicting the Bengals to win. However, that's who I thought was going to win. I mean, I just couldn't see Miami going 4-0, and I really couldn't see the Bengals going down to 1-3. Excuse me. Nothing like a fresh cup of joe at 11:02 a.m. It's technically the morning, so it's okay. Yeah, but we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna look at all these games on my phone. It's been a long 2 weeks. Got a lot of stuff I had been having to do. Haven't had as much time I like to dedicate to this podcast, but nonetheless, we're gonna give you content regardless. So let's just get this going. And by the way, as I load up this app, and I do it every single day, and for some reason I keep going back, the ESPN app is absolute trash. There's no way around it. There's absolutely nothing it does well other than show me scores and stats. And even then, it doesn't even do that good of a job. I mean, it's taken me an hour to load up this goddamn app. I got a freaking... Oh, now it's just stuck. It's just stuck. It just stays stuck at this screen. And I know I got a freaking dinosaur for an iPhone. That's okay, though. And it just goes back to my screensaver. I can't even open up the ESPN app. We're going to start off today with a rant on the ESPN app. Absolute trash. The trashiest freaking sports app that you could ever have right here. ESPN app. By the way, for you baseball fans, M's got a dub last night, moving closer to that postseason clinch, I would say. Nonetheless, we're going to NFL. Come on. Boom, here we go. All right, let's start it off with the juggernaut game of them all. You know what I'm talking about. The Jets versus the fucking Pittsburgh Steelers, baby. And I know every single time I predict a game, I predict the Steelers to win. And that's not because I'm biased. Why would it be because I'm biased? It's because I think the goddamn Steelers are going to win. We should have beat the Browns last week. It looked like we were heading in the right direction offensively in the first half. Then in the second half, we just put up a dud. So I'm not sure what to think of the offense yet. I thought in the first half it was fixed. It's not. It's not, and I'm worried because we're going to keep losing games, but we're not going to lose them because of Mitch Trubisky. That worries me because eventually Kenny Pickett's got to come in, man. We know Mitchell Trubisky's ceiling. Mitch Trubisky's right here. Kenny Pickett, he's probably right here too. But Kenny Pickett, he can go up here. He may be right here. Hell, he may be right here. But Mitch Trubisky's topped out right here. And he's going to play anywhere and below that. But he stops right there. Kenny Pickett, he's already right here. But we don't know if he can go up here. We don't know how high he can climb. Might as well throw the guy in. It's not going to get any worse on offense. I mean, what else does he need to know in the system? What else could you possibly teach him that you can't teach him in a regular season game? It's time to get him regular season reps. The best way to learn is to do. And you can't learn how to play a regular season game unless you've been in a regular season game. It just doesn't make sense to me. And maybe this is why I'm sitting here talking about sports instead of coaching. But man, I know when I played, I wanted to play in the game to learn how it is in an actual environment of playing. Now, to my prediction, Jets versus Steelers. I have to go Pittsburgh. How could you not? How could I sit here and reasonably say the Jets are going to beat Pittsburgh next week? In Pittsburgh. I can't. What are the Jets? Zach Wilson might be playing. Oh, whoopsie poo. Fucking Zach Wilson. He's out banging moms right now. I'm sorry, Uncle John. I can't help it. I say inappropriate things. Don't let my little cousin listen to this. But, yeah, I just can't reasonably think of a way the Jets beat us next week unless Mitch Trubisky goes out and throws 3 picks, which, honestly, I wouldn't be too mad at because then we'd have a reason. We'd have warranted evidence of why Kenny Pickett should be thrown in the game. And finally, he should start. So that is my take for the first game. I'm going to go Steelers 24, Jets 16. Yeah, I think we beat them by at least a touchdown. We should beat them by at least a touchdown. Minka Fitzpatrick might play. That shouldn't be too much to handle anyway. Yeah, we're going to go Steelers. What's the I'm not even going to do over-unders. Steelers by 7 at least. All right, next game, Vikings versus the Saints. The Vikings came out strong week 1 by dominating Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, and everyone lost their hopes for Aaron Rodgers off of one game. I don't know why. He is notoriously bad in first games, at least for the last few seasons. And the Vikings sort of kind of fell off. Who did they play last week? Who did the fucking Minnesota Vikings play last week? I want to know. Okay, it does tell me. ESPN app, I'll give you props on that. You do give us the previous games. They played that's right. They played Detroit where they almost lost. Detroit, man, they're fiery. Shout out to Detroit. That Hard Knocks may have done them well. So they played Detroit. They won 28-24, but before that they got whooped by Philly 24-7 on primetime. But we know Kirk doesn't do good in primetime. Luckily, it's a 6:30 a.m. game, so this is going to be in London. So really no home field advantage for the Saints here. I'm pretty sure it's going to be in London. Why would it be in... Yeah, it's got to be in London. So the Saints versus the Vikings. Saints just came off an absolute travesty. Who did they play? Saints just played the Carolina Panthers. That's right. They lost to Carolina. Baker Mayfield and the Carolina Panthers 22-14. And before that, they lost to Tampa 20-10. Now, Tampa, okay, we'll give you a pass there, but Carolina, man. And then Jameis is not doing good at all. I had to trade Alvin Kamara for my fantasy team because the guy just doesn't know when to dump it off. So, yeah, I can see a bounce back game here. The Saints and Vikings, they got a little bit of a rivalry ever since Stephon Diggs caught that pass for the touchdown at the closing seconds a couple years ago. Yeah, I'm going to go Saints here. I think the Saints bounce back. I think Jameis starts to dial it in a little bit, starts to make less mistakes. I think the Saints offense gets back on track. They got a nice defense that I think will hold the Vikings to about roughly 16 points, but I think the Saints can put up at least 25, 30, maybe, if Jameis is hot, if they're having a good week. But you never know. Those London games are really, really tough. I remember the last London game I watched was last year. It was the Jaguars versus, I want to say the Texans, and it was kind of a high-scoring game. So maybe it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I'm going to go the Saints nonetheless. I think they get back on track. They move to 2-2, and the Vikings move down to 2-2. And that's my prediction for that one. Minnesota, -3 favorite. Okay. Next game, Browns versus the Falcons. Ooh, that's some stank. Where do we start? Browns got the win against the Pittsburgh Steelers somehow on Thursday night. Jacoby Brissett did not look bad at all. He looked like oh my God. Nothing to ruin a podcast better than a goddamn iPhone alarm sound. Sorry, guys. And I'm not even going to edit that out. That's got to stay in. I need to eat shit with that one. If I lose subscribers to that, I deserve it. Anyway, back to the Browns-Falcons. Brissett he looked good. He looked good. He looked like he knew what he was going to do. He didn't want to force anything. He did what he needed to do to win the game. Guy's got a gun. I didn't really realize that about him until I watched him play the Steelers last week. But the guy's got quite a gun on him. Browns got a nasty running game, but the Falcons just play everyone tough. They got their first win in Seattle last week. Shot at. Screw the Seahawks. You like that, Uncle John? I said screw the Seahawks. I could have said the other thing. But I'm trying to make it PG, trying to make it, better for my younger audience out there. But yeah, I think it's in Atlanta. Cleveland's a -1 favorite. I can see the Browns. Go ahead and give me the Browns on the road with this one. I think the Falcons will make it a fight. I think they'll make it a game, but I just don't think they'll be able to. I think the Browns will pretty much control the pace of the game. They'll get the ball. They'll run the ball. They'll run it straight down their throats. They won't score a touchdown every time, but they'll score enough touchdowns to win the game. I can see this being 25-13 Cleveland. 25-20 Cleveland. Yeah, I can see Nick Chubb going for 100. I can see Kareem Hunt maybe having 2 TDs. They got a nasty backfield right there, and I'm surprised they haven't got rid of Kareem Hunt. I wonder what the trade value is for him. Is the trade value high for running backs? I don't know. Yep, let's go Cleveland. And I may be eating shit on that one, but Cleveland they're more consistent than the Falcons, I think. They got more of a structural base on their team. So we'll go Cleveland. You won't hear that a lot by me, by the way. So when I do say Cleveland's going to win, you should take notes. Anyway, next game. Washington Commanders versus the Cowboys. Another stank fest. Another game you probably do not want to tune into. You got Carson Wentz versus Cooper Rush. I'm not even sure who the Cowboys quarterback name is yet. Commanders versus the Cowboys. Cowboys, they beat the Giants without Dak Prescott, which, is it time to think Cowboys don't even need Dak Prescott? I don't think so. I think Dak's a much better quarterback, more into the system than Cooper Rush. Is it Cooper Rush? Am I saying that right? Is that his name? Because I feel like that's his name. Yes, it is Cooper Rush. I was right. See, TBloom knows. But Cooper Rush versus Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, man, I haven't got to watch much of the Washington Commanders, but it seems like he's the same old Carson Wentz, yet he hasn't got injured yet, which is surprising. Because when this guy's not injured, he's always dangerous. Anytime you play Carson Wentz, he has the ability to put up 300 yards and 3 TDs anytime against any defense. But the problem with him is he gets hurt. Hasn't got hurt yet. Division game. This seems like the type of game they would throw on Sunday Night Football for God knows why. But it's a 10 a.m. game in Dallas. Give me the Washington Commanders to take this one. Yeah, I think Dallas is going to fall off a little bit here. I think they're going to get back to reality. Like, hey, you guys are not that. They have a good defense, sure, but I think Carson Wentz can light up any D if he has the chance. They got Anthony Gibson, who I just traded away from my fantasy team. And let me throw this out there. Is this a good trade? Anthony Gibson and Jacoby Myers for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. TBloom Nation, let me know. Is that a good trade in fantasy? PPR, by the way. PPR. Anthony Gibson, Jacoby Myers for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think that's a good trade in terms of for me. We'll see though. Yeah, give me the Washington Commanders here. I think they do it. I think it's going to be a shit show, a little bit of a stank fest, as I said at the beginning. Give me Washington 20. Give me Washington 17, Cowboys 14. That seems like the most NFC East score that it's probably going to be. It's probably going to be that. 17-14, Washington Commanders. I'm calling it. Next game, the Seahawks versus the Lions. Ooh. Both these teams 1-2. One of these teams could easily be 2-1. One of these teams could easily be 3-0. The Lions could easily be 3-0. They were in every single one of their games they've played. But they're not. They're 1-2. The Seahawks are 1-2. I think the Lions are a stronger 1-2 team. I think the Seahawks, we know what they are. I mean, this is definitely going to be an off year for them. They're not in any Super Bowl contenders. I don't even think they can realistically make the playoffs at this point. Yeah, so give me the Lions to win 30-15. I think the Lions really put it on the Seahawks. I hope the Lions really put it on the Seahawks. I can't stand the Seahawks or their fans. With that being said, though, we're going to cut to a commercial break from our local sponsor. Here you go. Hey, guys, how you doing? Blake Laser here. Hope you're enjoying another episode of the TBloom Talk Show. Hey, I wanted to tell you about a special offer we have going on this Saturday, October 1st, here at Laser Suites and Casino. Every $1,000 that you spend at the buffet, you will be tokened $100 worth of credit towards your next blackjack gamble. Now, only if you spend $1,000 will you be rewarded this $100 for blackjack. So go ahead, bring the kids, bring the wife, bring the husband, whatever, we don't care. Come in, have a good time. South F Street, 122 South Tacoma Way. You can find us. Remember, have a good time and get your laser on. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that word from our local sponsor, Blake Laser. Remember, get your laser on. A good friend of mine, known him for quite a while. He, he may seem shady, right? Shady guy, Shady McCoy. But overall, I think he's got his life back together, and I don't think he's trying to con you anymore. But anyway, thanks for watching that. Back to the games. Yeah, so I'm going to go Lions over Seahawks. Nothing much to say there. I think it's going to be, like I said, 25 or 30 to 15. I don't think the Seahawks put up more than 15. All right, we're going to go the Titans versus the Colts. Man, the 1-1-1. That's a stank record. 1-1-1. What do you even think of your team at that point? But one of those wins, your only win, is against the Chiefs. So it's like, really, what the fuck are you, Indianapolis? You suck against the Jacksonville Jaguars. You suck against Houston, yet you can come out and beat the Chiefs 20-17. I don't understand. This is why we love the NFL, though. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, the goddamn Indianapolis Colts look like the shit show, a goddamn shit show. Then they come out and beat the Chiefs. Unbelievable. And then the Tennessee Titans look like shit against the Giants, blew that lead. Then they look like real shit against the Buffalo Bills. And then they come out and beat Las Vegas, which I guess isn't the best team. But nonetheless, I thought Vegas had that one in the bag. Thank God I didn't put out my predictions for last week. Anyway, Tennessee versus Indianapolis Colts, division game in Indy, 10 a.m. game, or whatever for you Easterners or mid-mountain Westerns, whatever the fuck time zone they called it. Tennessee, Tennessee reminds me a lot of Pittsburgh because they got that little itch in their head every week. When's Malik Willis going to come in? Ryan Tannehill, you throwing picks, dude? Can't throw too many. You can't throw them like you used to. You got 3 picks and you also got 3 TDs. Where are you going? You going up? You going down? Because as soon as you start going down, you're going to start hearing the Willis, Willis, Willis. Willis chants just going throughout the fucking stadium, rocking in Nashville. Then you're done. Once you lost the fans, you're done. Especially in Nashville. So, and then on the other hand, you got Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan, the goddamn, who knows what he is anymore. Thought he was an elite quarterback. I still feel like every time, I'm a guy who watches Red Zone. I'm a fantasy guy, so I need to see all the scores and stuff. Every time I see him come up on the Red Zone, it seems like he's getting sack fumbled or throwing a pick. I mean, I can't even remember a touch. He's thrown 3 TDs. I can't remember one of them, but I can remember 2 times where he's gotten a turnover by a sack, fumble, or an interception. And then you got the 2 elite running backs, Derrick Henry versus Jonathan Taylor. Man, this is going to be a close one. Both these teams need to get a win. I can see Indy getting it, though. I just think I think Matt Ryan's going to have a good game. I think he's going to bounce back. We'll see. I mean, I'm not too confident in that, but yeah, I think Matt Ryan's going to come back, have a good game, take care of the ball. They're going to run the shit out of Jonathan Taylor. And on the other side, I can see the Titans not being able to do much against the Indy's defense. I mean, the Chiefs weren't even able to do much against Indy's defense. So yeah, give me the Indianapolis Colts at home to move to 2-1-1. God, that's so shitty. And then the Tennessee Titans will fall 1-3, and those Willis chants are gonna start. Willis, 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 and Ryan Tannehill's gonna be fucking freaking out in the stadium. He's not gonna know where to go. He's not gonna know who to trust. Mike Vrabel's just gonna be staring him down. Yeah, you see me. You see who's behind me, Malik Willis. The star to be, and then Ryan Tannehill's going to crumble. Maybe we'll see. That's the big oof. That's the big what's going to happen there. But nonetheless, Indy's going to take this. Next game, Chicago Bears versus the New York Football Giants. This is the 1920s-esque fucking game. You got 2 bruisers, 2 big football teams coming in trying to make it a fucking season. Giants, can they move to 3-1? Bears, can they move to 3-1? I don't know. I really don't know. This is a tough one because the Giants, on one hand, got a little bit of stability. Their offense looks a little bit more stable than I thought they were going to be. The Bears, on the other hand, they got a guy at quarterback who's not doing very good. Nonetheless, he doesn't have a line or much of a receiving core outside of Darnell Mooney. Can I think of anybody else? Yeah, no, they got rid of Robinson. Who's their receiver? I mean, St. Brown from the goddamn Packers last year. Daniel Jones, 3 TDs, 2 interceptions. You know what? I'm going to take the stable team here. Give me the Giants. I'm going to think they're going to get back on track. They took the loss to the Cowboys somehow, some way, in ultimate Giant fashion. They blew that game. However, we're gonna go with the New York Giants, and there's not much to be said with that. Justin Fields looking like he sucks. Nonetheless, you can't tell because they don't have a line. So, and then another thing with these goddamn ESPN fucking app. Okay, so you guys see that? Why do I want to... Oh, and it disappears. Yeah, do you think I need a mini split install financing as I'm scrolling through ESPN? You think that's what's on my mind right now, ESPN? Your guys' ads suck. And it's always the new Drake album. Did Drake's album flop that bad to where he needs to have a goddamn ad in the middle of the ESPN app? And I don't even click on it and it goes to it. Absolutely frustrating. I will be ranting about this all season, so stay tuned. Next game, Jaguars, Eagles. This is going to be a good game because I think the Jaguars are really good. I think they're a lot better than people give them credit for. And then the Eagles, they look fucking amazing. But they are the Eagles. Excuse me. They are the Eagles, and I'm not sure if they're going to keep this up too much because, I mean, they're the fucking Eagles, dude. T-Law, 77 for 111, 772 yards, 6 TDs, and 1 interception. That's a first-round pick if I've ever seen one. Then you got, on the other hand, Jalen Hurts, 916 yards, 4 TDs, and 1 interception. And God knows how many rushing yards. Probably a lot. You know what? I think the Philadelphia Eagles are bound to fall back to reality a little bit. And I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to keep proving teams wrong all season. So give me the Jacksonville Jaguars here on the road. What's the spread in this one? Oh, of course, they make it so fucking hard to find this shit. The spread is plus 6.5. If I'm a bettor, I'm taking that plus 6.5 for Jaguars because this is going to be a close game. The Jaguars, they know what they're doing. They got a Doug Peterson. He's going to come back for revenge against his old team. Doug Peterson's going to play against his old team. There it is. Guaranteed. Jacksonville Jaguars by a touchdown. Guaranteed. Doug Peterson's pissed. Wins him a Super Bowl. Then the Philadelphia Eagles, they got a couple bad seasons. All of a sudden, they give up. They give up on the guy that brought him a fucking Super Bowl. Unbelievable. Yep. I'm going to go the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think the Philadelphia Eagles move to 3-1, and the Jacksonville Jaguars move to 3-1 as well. Give me a 30-20 win, Jacksonville style. Here we go. God, I need to blow my nose. Excuse me. Sorry about that, folks. You know how it goes. It's starting to get into those winter days or those fall mornings where it's just a little bit colder than what it used to be. Next game, the Bills versus the Ravens. This is going to be exciting. This is possibly the AFC Championship if somehow the Pittsburgh Steelers don't get there. Bills, Ravens, both 2-1. Both offensive juggernauts, it seems like. And this is kind of a toss-up. Home field advantage goes to Baltimore. Buffalo just came off their first loss to the goddamn Miami Dolphins, and I don't know how they lost that game. I mean, they had every chance to win it there at the end. The butt punt for the safety. Josh Allen couldn't, for some reason, make the comeback. Let's take a look at some stat leaders. Josh Allen's got 1,014 yards, 9 TDs, 2 interceptions. Lamar has got 749 yards, 10 TDs, and 2 interceptions. But he's also leading his team in rushing with 243 and 2 TDs. Man, this is going to be a fun one. I wouldn't bet on this game at all. This is something you don't need to bet to enjoy. You can sit there and watch it and just enjoy the game. I think it's going to be a little bit lower scoring game than they think. What is the projection? What's the over-under? They think it's 51 points over-under. I think it's going to be 17-21. Give me the Ravens. Yeah, give me the Ravens winning this one. 21-17. Actually, no, the Ravens' defense sucks. Give me the Buffalo Bills 30-17, actually. Buffalo Bills 30-17. They get back on track. By the way, did you guys see the offensive... I'm sure you guys did if you guys are sports fans. Offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills last week after they lost. And then Josh Allen's like on the ground almost crying because they lost one regular season game to a division opponent. I mean, you could tell that these guys were thinking undefeated season. They let all the hype and all the media who told them they were the best team since fucking sliced bread. Doesn't make sense. That's okay. They let that get to their head, and they were really, really hoping for an undefeated season. And they had the chance. They have the team. They have the offense. They have the coaching. They got this. They got that. They got everything, every piece that they need to create that undefeated season. But they lost it in week 3. And, man, was that OC pissed. But to freak out like that just shows, passion, I guess. But it also shows you're a little bit unstable, bud. We might need to send you to anger management because then again, you did just move to 2-1 and you barely lost. And you're pretty much still the best team in football. Relax, buddy. Anyway, yeah, 30-17. Buffalo's going to take this one. Baltimore's going to fall to 2-2, which is going to make the AFC North a much, much easier division to win for Pittsburgh. And remember, all of what I'm saying, everything of what I'm saying, and I'm not saying I'm biased, but it's in a filter of a Steelers fan. I have a Steelers fan shield in front of my eyes. So this is all relative to what a Steelers fan think. Not every Steelers fan, but this Steelers fan especially. But I'm not biased. But there's no bias, trust me. Anyway, Chargers versus the Texans. Les Texans. I think the Texans should be... If there's any team to move to London, it should be the Texans. I mean, how stupid does that sound? The Texans should move to London, even though there's no fucking Texans in London, I don't think. But if there's any team to move overseas, it's the Texans. They play over in that area. Or the Jaguars. Maybe the Jaguars should move to Europe. I could see that being a thing. They don't need another team in Miami or in Florida. They just don't need it. Yeah, I mean they're always playing over out in London when we have London games. They probably got the most fans. Like if you're a London football fan, like who would you vote for or who would you root for besides the Texans or the Jaguars? They come and play every fucking year. You got to pick one of them. Anyway, Chargers versus Texans. Chargers 1-2. They start out slow all the time. They never live up to the hype that they're supposed to be. That's nothing new. The Texans, on the other hand, are 0-2-1. That's a fucking stank record. A lot of stank on this podcast today. A lot of stank in this week 4. Let's see. Josh Herbert. Oh, yeah, he's got like those broken ribs. I mean, I don't know what happened to him last week. The Jaguars, I mean, hey, the Jaguars are a lot better than what teams thought. Mix that in with the Los Angeles Chargers, who are a little bit more overrated than what people thought. You got yourself a blowout. Mills sucks. We know that for the Texans. That guy is just not, I mean, we thought he was a little bit decent at the end of last season, but now he's just not looking good at all. And maybe that's partially because they have absolutely nobody on their offense besides Brandon Cooks, who on any other team mostly would probably be a 2 receiver. And then Dameon Pierce has his breakout game. Yeah, go ahead and give me the Chargers. I think the Chargers get back on track. I think the Texans are in full tank mode. They need something. And it's not going to be this year. They're not reaching for the playoffs this year. I think the Chargers, I don't even think they do it easily. I think this is going to be a very close game. It seems like every game the Texans play is pretty close. Let's see. Yeah, they lost 23-20 last week. Denver, 16-9. Then they tied with Indy. So they're going to keep it close. Jacksonville or Chargers on a 2-game losing streak. They're going to get back on track here. I could see it being 24-20. Give me the Chargers 24-20 on a Justin Herbert game-winning drive to seal the deal. Davis Mills gets like a minute left, but he doesn't do shit. Chargers get back on track there. Next game, Cardinals versus the Panthers. What's going to happen? I don't know. Does any of us know? Do any of us fucking know what's going to happen with the Cardinals-Panthers? I don't know what's going on with the Cardinals, but it seems to me like they suck. But then again, it seems to me like they're good. But then again, it looks like they suck. They're unpredictable. And the Panthers just came off a big win against the Saints. Oh, this is tough, man. I mean, fuck, where do we go with this? Give me the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are more structurally sound. They got Kyler Murray. He's more dynamic than Baker Mayfield. And he's going to put up more points. I think the Cardinals move to 2-2 here. Make it a little bit more of a race in the NFC West. 22-16, Cardinals. Not much else to talk about there. Patriots versus the Packers. Now, there was a time when this game would be 12 versus 12. But that happened last week, and you saw which 12 won, Aaron Rodgers. But now it's going to be 12 versus, Brian Hoyer maybe. I think Mac Jones may be coming back. I don't know. Let's just look at it right here. What's it say? Mac Jones is doubtful. So, yeah, there you go. Give me the Green Bay Packers. This is an easy one. Green Bay's going to take it. It's in Lambeau. I still think it'll be relatively close. I think the Packers will win by a touchdown. Not much more than a touchdown, but by a touchdown seems about fair. 24-17. Final score. All right, 24-17. That seems like a reasonable score there. 20. You know what? No, the Patriots aren't scoring shit. 24-10. You know what? No, 24-17 because Brian Hoyer. Sorry, guys, I'm all over the place. Which, by the way, did you guys know Brian Hoyer's name was Axel? That came up in one of the group chats I'm in on Snapchat with the boys. Brian Hoyer's real name? Axel. Excel. He excels. Latin root word. Why didn't we know that? Why throughout his whole career was Brian Hoyer going by Brian? Axel's a cool name. Axel's a lot cooler of a name than Brian. Sorry for you Brians out there. But the Axel's got the advantage. But why was he going by Brian? Is it a family thing? Did his mom prefer Brian? Maybe that parents had a divorce and Brian reminded him run into the mom of the dad. I don't know, some sort of situation like that. I don't know. Don't want to speculate. But why his whole career was Brian Hoyer going by Axel? These questions matter. And if I could get Brian Hoyer right here on the TBloom Talk Show, I'd grill him about it until we got a goddamn answer. Because fucking Axel's a better name than Brian. What the fuck, Brian? Or Axel? Jesus Christ. Anyway, give me the goddamn Packers to beat the Patriots by a touchdown. Next game, Broncos versus the Raiders. Man, what a... we got a bunch of division games. Now, the Broncos... the Broncos look like trash. Well, considering what they should be. Man, this is a tough one. Give me the Vegas Raiders. Right off the bat, they're not going to move to 0-4. I know that for a fact. The Denver Broncos are going to fall back down to earth like they did. Well, they didn't really fall back down to earth in the first game. But, yeah, the Broncos are going to lose this one. They're bound to lose this one. They've been playing too terrible to continue to win like they are. Las Vegas, on the other hand, they're going to get back to it. There's no way they move to 0-4. And what's up with Josh McDaniels, dude? Can he not head coach? Can he just not head coach? Is that like, is his top an offensive coordinator for the Patriots? Is that what he was meant to do his whole life? I don't know. But it seems like he has no idea what he's doing when it comes to head coaching. God damn, my nose is just stuffy. It just seems like, yeah, I mean, he's 0-3 to start out. He didn't do good when he coached for the Broncos. Those were the days. But maybe he's just an OC at heart. Maybe that's all he's meant to be, which is good, which is fine. An OC's good. Sure, they get paid good, get front row seats to NFL games, get to call the plays, be in on the action. Woo, sounds like something you'd win on a sweepstakes. Call the plays for a whole game for the New England Patriots. Enter in now. Text 3330 to 123. You know what I mean? That's what an OC seems like. Like a prize winner. Anyway, yeah, give me the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm not going to look too deep in this one. Denver Broncos, there's no way they move to 3-1 with how they're playing. And the Raiders desperately need a win. They're going to be desperate as shit out there against the Broncos. Now, the next game is not last year's Super Bowl matchup, but the last year's Super Bowl matchup. The Chiefs versus the Buccaneers. Brady versus Mahomes. Whoa. Is this even the Brady that we know? I'm still not sure. I'm not even sure if Brady's fell off yet. But, I mean, you can't really tell until the season goes on. But he sure doesn't look the same. Maybe it's because he's got a bunch of injuries on the team. Yada, yada, yada. They're running the ball more. Patty Mahomes looks like Patty Mahomes. You know that. They don't have Tyreek Hill, though. Give me the Chiefs, man. I mean, the Bucks just... Oh, but the Bucks D's nasty. Give me the Chiefs. I'm not even thinking about it more. Chiefs over the Buccaneers. 26 to 20. 26 to 20. Brady's got a chance at a game-winning drive, but he fails. And then you're talking all week about, does Brady still have it? He had a game-winning drive. He could have won. Is Brady still, all the talk starts flaring around and shit. Yep, give me the Chiefs. Next game, LA Rams versus the goddamn San Francisco 49ers from Monday Night Football. What do you think? What do you think, TBloom Nation? Put in the comments right now. Who do you think is going to win, the Rams or the fucking San Francisco 49ers? Excuse my language, Uncle John. It slips out. It's a whoopsie poopsie. Los Angeles Rams versus the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco looked like absolute garbage last week. Well, Jimmy G did. And Jeff Wilson for fumbling that ball to give it back to the... who were they playing? Who did they play last weekend? Oh, that's right, Denver. To give it back there, 11-10 game. What a shitty score. You know what? Give me the Niners. I think the Niners get back on track, and I think the Rams are a little bit not as good as they were, or not as good as they can be. They're not at their full potential right now. I think there's a lot of kinks to be worked out in that offense. And this division game is going to be close. I think San Francisco wins. I don't know how. I don't know why, but I'm leaning towards San Francisco. Yeah, I'm going to go San Francisco. 17-13. 17-13 San Francisco. And that's going to cover it for all the games today, or for this weekend, and for Monday night. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. If you did, remember to like, subscribe, and tell a friend to tell a friend. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you guys have any questions at all, you can find me at TBloom Talk Show on Twitter, or you can find me on Instagram at T_Bloom253. With that being said, I am your host, TBloom, TBloom Nation, here from the TBloom headquarters. We give you a warm shout out. Have a good weekend and enjoy week 4 of the NFL season. We love you. Take care.